Okay, let me get this out of the way. I was wrong. No one likes to be wrong. No one likes to admit it. But I'll be the first to come forward when it happens. I thought I was going to walk into the screening thinking I was going to watch something that I was sure to come out and say is hot garbage. But surprisingly, that's not the case. This was actually an enjoyable experience. And with that, I'm welcome to another episode of The Real Mentor. My goal, as always, is to enhance your movie watching experience. So The Invisible Man, the newest movie on the Blumhouse Productions, of course, Blumhouse, you know, they're the masters of maintaining that kind of frugal budget, if you will, more than any other studio is able to do. You know, they give us, not that every movie they do is great, but when they make a movies, really they pump little money in and usually end up making big profits on it. So I'm always kind of curious to see what they bring to the table. We have Lee Whannell, who's not unfamiliar with them. He's worked at Blumhouse so many times before. He wrote the original Saw. I think he wrote the first Insidious, directed the third Insidious, directed Upgrade a couple years back, which is his last movie, which is actually a very surprisingly good film. And I think he managed to create a good movie, a movie which I think I enjoyed. I wasn't expecting it to like it at all. And I quite enjoyed this film. It's not a fantastic movie. It's not going to blow you away, but I think a lot of audiences are really going to be taken by this movie. It's a good 2-hour entertaining film. Now, in this version of The Invisible Man, we've gotten so many. This movie goes back, in terms of the premise of The Invisible Man, goes back to like 1930s. So it's been around for a long time here. So in this version, we have here Elizabeth Moss, who plays the main character, who's quite good in the film. I liked her a lot. She kind of carried the movie, and she needed to, because she's probably the biggest character. She does most of the work here. And she plays a girlfriend of a young rich, I guess, scientist or some engineer or something rather. It's not really explained fully, which is fine. And it's an abusive relationship, so she ends up leaving him. And she's scared for her life, of course. She thinks this guy's going to chase her down. And a couple weeks later, she finds out that he committed suicide. So she's kind of relieved, but then discovers later that I guess he discovered an ability to become invisible, and now is stalking her, terrorizing her at every corner. And she's in a position where nobody believes her, and she's going insane. They're trying to figure out how he done it and how he can stop him. Now, like I said, this is actually a good, entertaining film. There's a lot of things that I like about it. What I loved about it, first and foremost, a couple of things stuck out. First of all, there are some really cool scenes in here, which I don't want to spoil, give you an idea of when they come while you kind of watch it for yourself. But some really great scenes that really stood out. But I love the quiet tension this movie builds a lot of times, and it really allows the audience to be put in Elizabeth Moss's shoes. You know, a lot of horror movies, sometimes they give you those musical cues, or they throw this music at you, or these weird sounds to kind of get you in that mode, to kind of create the atmosphere. This movie does the opposite. And this is not a horror movie per se. This is more of a thriller than a horror movie. So, you know, buyer beware of that. I'm not sure how this is being marketed, but it's not a straight-on horror film. It's got a horror element. This is more of a thriller. That being said, in those moments where, you know, she's being terrorized by her ex-boyfriend, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. Is he there? Is he not there? Those scenes are done really, really well. No music at all. It's very quiet, no sound, and you kind of the camera's panning around. And again, it really allows you to kind of sink in and that atmosphere build, that tension build. And that's really, really cool. And it happens so many times in this movie, and it doesn't get old. Again, some great scenes in there. Elizabeth Moss is really good in as well. Again, very simple premise, and I like about that, which I like because it doesn't overextend itself. It doesn't give it too much exposition. It doesn't matter at the end of the day how and why he created the ability to become invisible. It really focuses more on this girl trying to overcome what's going on around her with nobody believing her, and that's a really cool thing here. And I'll say this. It's about a 2-hour runtime. It is a little about 10 or 15 minutes too long, which I was worried about that going into the film. But again, not the worst thing in the world. It is pretty engaging for the most part. I really liked how this movie ended, and how, the manner how was the ending, and how everything kind of resolved itself, if you will. And overall, again, just very entertaining. I mean, again, as long as you don't expect a full-on horror movie, I think you're going to be okay with it. It's a good thriller. It's entertaining enough. I'm not saying this is going to blow you away at all, but I think if you go in there for 2 hours and just kind of turn the brain off, watch something entertaining, and be, you know, I guess get caught up in what's going on, I think you're gonna find yourself having a good time with the film. I definitely recommend it. If not in the theaters, definitely watch it at some point on VOD, at home, whatever the case is. Because again, it's a good, not a great film, but it's one of Blumhouse's better the last couple of weeks. I know they're giving us some couple of bad movies the last few months. I'm glad to see they kind of picked up the pace with this one, so that's good to see. So, The Invisible Man, should you guys watch it? I think you should. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.